Hello everyone, I hope you're well. Fissa here. So today I actually decided to make this video to explain what actually happened on the 5th of January. So for if you have watched my previous video, you will actually know that we lost everything. Our house actually burned down. My parents' house, the three of us were there, my dad, my mom and myself. The 5th of January, what actually happened was I did not actually sleep well the day before. We have our neighbor's cat always just jumps the fence, and we had this alarm system and it just kept going on that night, crazy, which I was like annoyed about. And when morning came, I had decided for this year that I was going to be active every day, no matter what. So in the morning, I decided, okay, let me just try to go do a couple of things, run a couple of errands. And I went to the bank, a couple of banks actually. I went to the bank. I had to do my hair, so I actually called my hairdresser. And he didn't answer, went back home around 2. And around 4 p.m., actually, one of the au pair girls that we have came and knocked on my door and said there's a fire downstairs. So I go down, my parents were there, we open the door. I'll be putting clips in this video. We opened the kitchen door that gave onto the laundry room, and it was fire everywhere. Fire everywhere. So we closed the door. Actually, I was standing with my dad when we saw the fire because he was also upstairs in his room working out, like just walking back and forth. He has this watch that tells him that he has to do 10,000 steps. Not 10,000, I think 7,000 or 10,000 steps a day. So he was actually doing his steps. And my mom was actually downstairs watching TV. I was like in front of my laptop, but halfly asleep, to be frank. The place is just where we saw the fire is just next to the garage, and one of the cars was there. So my mom went out, pulled back the car. My dad is like, call the fire brigades. I didn't know the number. Got the number from a neighbor. We called, and the fire was just in that one room, really. And when the fire brigade got there, they're like, oh, we don't have water and we don't have a ladder. So at that time, I think my dad and myself looked at each other, and we knew that we were about to lose everything. So my dad always has a smile on his face. Even then, when the house was burning, some people were crying, and he was the one telling them, don't cry, it's just things. So the fire went from that room to the next room where there was a solar system thingies. At some point, we even thought that, because I had actually built a battery myself, they thought that that was that, but it was not an electrical fault. The fire started in a way that we still do not know how. So our neighbor was actually having his roof redone like every 2 months. This man has so much leakage on his roof, so always call people that come with these blow torches, and so a lot of people believe that that might be something that left their roof and with the wind or some sort of thing arrived, because the fire actually, you see where the fire has started, but there was nothing really there to start a fire. It was the laundry room. In the middle of the laundry room, I mean, yes, there were dirty clothes waiting to be put in the machine, but to just start a fire by itself, not really. So we also had my brother who had his wedding there on the 17th of December. Yes, so is it somebody, there was so many people. So is there maybe some stuff that were there, because the house was still like just so messy at that stage. So maybe something also was there and just mixed together, and I don't know. Like, and sincerely, I decided that I don't even want to put blame on anybody, as long it was not electricity, it was not the gas. Because when the fire started, the kitchen actually has like a bottle of gas next to the island to cook. I actually took it out, telling myself if they come, they have to disconnect us, the fire brigade, that is. And my mom did the same thing with one that was, we have a secondary kitchen on the back. And all the little bottles, I'll put the clips in, they were taken out by us. So when that happened, we called them. And the fire, they couldn't stop the fire. They didn't want to listen to us, telling us we need to stop this over here. Of course, fire brigades, they do what they think is right. Unfortunately, we have one of those houses it was the first house with tiles in Burkina Faso. Very unique house. So most houses do not have like upstairs. It's just flat houses. So they don't automatically come with a ladder when you call them, and there was water outage. We used to have 1 hour water per day. So we had a tank, so when the water comes, it fills in the tank, and the rest of the day, no water. The week after the fire, the whole city didn't have water. So if you didn't have like solar panels and private pump to pump underground water to your house, you just don't have water. So the fire went from the laundry room. We closed the door, so the kitchen actually got saved. But since the fire could not come to the kitchen, it actually went with all the wood that was now from the ceiling, burned that down, went to my sister's and my brother's room, and went from room to room. We were sitting outside and we could actually see the flames starting in my room, and after that starting in my parents' room. I will be putting pictures so you can understand. And my parents' room are above the living room, so when it finished burning there, it actually went, and my mom broke at that moment, because my mom does a lot of things by herself. We actually are one of these sort of families that just do a lot of things with our hands. So she had all these odd things that she does by herself. I'll actually put a picture because this one that was at her sister's place. So when it burned, to me, it still feels like unreal. To be frank, today, it just feels unreal. So they didn't have water. They had to go like to the perimeter of the city literally to get water, and every time they would go, they would come back after an hour. The fire would just kept burning. 2-3 houses from our house, you actually have like Indian people, like our neighbors. They have a business there that they drill holes into the ground to actually do these underground water systems. So they actually had their pumps, so they had water. So, and the system was compatible with the fire brigade system, so they managed to actually put water into one of the truck of the fire brigade that went to another truck that went to a house. And this is how finally, close to 11 p.m., they managed to put down most of the fire. So this is weird, a bit hard to talk about this today. This is like, we're the 16th of July and I still have difficulty speaking about this today. So we entered the house and everything was gone. The kitchen has not really been touched. It started being touched. The dining room furniture is still there, and the worst thing that my mom was really quite upset about this, because when they realized they couldn't actually take out the fire, we could have actually saved a whole lot of things. And I think we all went through a little bit of depression. I think mine was actually harder. You have to think about working your whole life for something. I mean, I look at my parents, I'm just like, it's completely crazy. I was not born in this country. We came here 7 years ago. So my dad actually retired, and he was born here, he grew up here. My mom also was born here, they grew up here. But when they got married, they moved away, and this is where I was born. I was born in a neighboring country, and Then we grew up mostly in Kenya, but I mean, we traveled a lot. So for him, retiring meant coming back home, trying a lot of things. He wanted to open a business, trying to help young people, blah, blah, blah. Well, a lot of beautiful things that didn't even work out. So now, after all this, we also lost the house. Ironically, we were closing a business that was not working, that were supposed to close, that we did close on the 31st of January, and the fire happened on the 5th. So you still have to be mentally strong to actually be signing papers and close the business, blah, blah, blah. So it was so messy, it did not make sense. After that, we had company that engineering company that came and tested the house to see what could stand, what had to go. Do we have to just take the house down completely? They did that, and approximately 2 months, 1.5 months ago, we started actually trying to renovate the house. So this is where we are. I decided to share this story because sometimes life is just incredibly surprising, and in this case, not in a good way. There are a couple of things that I'm going to talk about, other videos of what you probably should do, because the house was always beautiful. Very unique house, as I said. We travel a lot, bought stuff from everywhere and anywhere. I've seen more than 70% of Africa, the countries, different countries in Africa, travel in and out. We did a lot of things by ourselves, and then we find ourselves with nothing. You get out of our house, you get out of a burning house thinking that, well, the fire brigade is actually going to do something. And all of a sudden, we didn't have shoes. We didn't even get out with shoes. Not my mom, not my dad, not myself. So our neighbors, one of our neighbors actually went and got us some sandals. Those were the only thing that we literally had. The clothes that we had that day, that was what we had left. We didn't have any ID cards, no passport, not birth certificate. We were just nobody. So, and nothing was really saved. This was saved because at some point they saw that we were starting to be upset, because if you can't put out the fire and the fire is actually not at a certain place in the living room. I mean, the fire started in the living room maybe 5 hours after that. So they managed to take this out of the house with my dad's laptop that my dad had brought in, that my brother had bring in for his wedding, because my brother lives in Canada. So, and the laptop was not even 2 weeks old, I want to say. So his laptop was saved. He was also wearing his watch. I was wearing a smartwatch that I got from India a month ago. I'm going to try to get like a charger, because I mean, it has been off since January now. Hopefully I can get the right charger. But that's it. And you see that we were people who kept a lot of things. I still had my day one clothes, my baby, the first clothes that I wore when I was a baby. I still had those, and it was in impeccable shape. We throw out things that are not important, but then you have all the reports that they give you in school. Can do better, this is good, C-, A+. All of this is just gone. By the way, I am 38, so for people who are wondering what my age is. And I was hoping that this year was going to be the year where I managed to just figure out a couple of things to make sure that my mom and my dad stop working even those things that they do now. My dad is officially retired, but he does these consulting things, and he turned 70 on the 5th of May. My mom turned 65 the next day. So when you see all this, it's quite difficult, to be frank. But what I want to say and my message on this channel is personal improvements. So the reality of this channel, I've been thinking about opening a YouTube channel for a moment, and this channel was supposed to be about minimalistic way of living and self-improvement. So for a couple of months I was depressed. I was not right to say the least, but that's actually a good way of restarting all this, because rebuilding a house when you are not really financially in a good place is not easy. When you're mentally not well, it's not easy. It's a balance of a lot of things. You have to be healthy, you have to be well set minded, and you have to do a lot of good things to actually take one step at a time. You have to work, you have to bring money in, you have to be positive, you have to make sure that you're not bringing down the next person who was also obviously struggling with it. Because my mom in the beginning, oh my god, my mom has never been fat, but she lost so much weight that it was just horrible. Even without saying the word depression, and it's very hard to see everybody just losing it. As I said, my dad, he always keeps his smile, and it's like, they're just things. If this had to happen to us, especially, it was not like it was not a mistake on our side. It was not somebody just dropped literally something there. So you cannot really blame anybody. And even that, I don't want to blame. Even if I knew that somebody had started the fire, I don't ever want to know if somebody even started the fire, even accidentally started this fire, because I don't want to look at somebody in a weird way. And the thing is, even if the person knows that it did a mistake or anything, or starting this fire, it's not going to change anything. You're not going to get your house back unless you just work it out, find money, build a house. So at the end of it, you just have to reboot and start over, and try your best to be mentally strong, and try your best to not stay in depression, and try your best to just go forward. And that's what it is. You don't have a choice. I personally don't think I have a choice, because I'm doing this for my parents. I need to rebuild their house. I need to find a way to be better for myself, because one of us just giving up is not the solution. For anybody that watches this and that find themselves being in a difficult position in life, in a difficult place in mind, there's always people that you can talk to. I have to say that a couple of things have actually kept me here, even through my dark thoughts. And I just want to say that don't give up. Keep fighting. Take a moment if you can, because I know that is not obvious. I'm actually going to make my next video to explain actually how I sort of made it here, still here. So, but I want to say that it's not easy, but the thing that you don't want to do is give up. You don't want to give up. You need to keep trying, keep at it, find people to help you out, mentally, especially, because usually when you have if you're mentally strong enough, you can do a lot. But it starts there. To me, my opinion, of course, it actually starts there. It's difficult. I'm not going to say that it's easy, but I'm going to say that if you don't quit and you keep at it, and you will have down days, you will have even a good day with a lot of down moments on it. That definitely can happen. But what you don't do is quit. You don't quit at all. If you have a bad day, find something to do. I watch a lot of YouTube. I learn a lot of things. I've been during the 5-6 months where I was not right. Watching funny things on YouTube helped me. Learning new skills on YouTube helped me. I actually opened, excuse me, I opened a secondary YouTube channel where I was just doing very different things over there, and it just helped a lot because I didn't have to be in this position of always looking at the house and always looking at this and that. So I just want to say that it is not easy. Life is not easy in general. Sometimes we find ourselves being in a pretty good position. You have to start over, you have to buy clothes, you have to buy toothpaste, you have to buy a toothbrush, you have to buy a comb, you have to buy everything. And you have to try to find a good mindset. This is where you start. If you're a depressed person, if you're not happy, don't quit. Watch a lot of YouTube. There are a lot of YouTube channels that are just for the motivational doc. So many. And I know there's also phone numbers you can call if you ever have like really bad thoughts that you can call. But as I say, humans are pretty great, especially when some people, they know that you have problems. They listen and find somebody to listen to you, because sometimes people will listen and you can make it through. So that's what I wanted to say today. Sorry, I really do not like talking towards the camera here. Don't give up and try, keep trying. It's very important. Give yourself another chance, keep trying. If you like my video, do not forget to drop a like. If you wish, you can actually add a comment down below. And I am going to share with you my adventures. I'm going to show you the house. I am going to show you my routines, what I'm doing, how I'm changing myself, how I'm trying to better myself. And welcome to the adventure. I will see you in the next one. Take care of yourself.